Hold on, take a breath.
Welcome everybody, welcome. If you are new to this channel, welcome, peace and love, and I hope that you will stay. And if you guys have been with me for a while, welcome. I love you all. Thank you for your continuous support. So guys, we're jumping right in. A couple weeks ago we talked about breaking free, and I gave some tools of affirmation on how to build after dealing with traumas and so forth. And then now we are building with tools of affirmation, which means that we are giving ourselves new information. We're unlearning and relearning and giving ourselves things that can really help us to live in our true self and our best life. I know I have my big gigantic globe over here, and for some other videos I'll talk about the globe. So for now, the globe is out. Alright guys, so today I'm going to talk about the game of life and how to play it. And that is a book that's written by Florence Scovel, The Game of Life and How to Play It. And that book, when that book came out in its time, it was like a bestseller because there were so many people from all over that was getting a hand on that book because they wanted to know about this mystical thing, the game of life and how to play it. Everybody know that life can be challenging and tough at times. We know that it comes with so many ups and downs and curves, and a lot of time we wish we have a book we just tell we how to live it, and you know, if it's a game, then how to play it. So she wrote a book, The Game of Life and How to Play It. And when I was reading the book, it was very interesting to me because there was like a couple light bulbs that went off in my head. Florence Scovel, she was a professor of metaphysics, and what that is, it teaches about God and the principles and the law of the universe and all of that. Anyway, when I dived into the book, and I'm gonna put a picture of the book so you guys can see the books. Anybody want to look up the book, get the book and read the book for themselves and get the information, you can. So the book will be there. And she was talking in the book about the game of life and how to play it. And what struck out to me was that the whole concept of the book went right back to the great book, the good book, the Bible. It went right back to creation, it went right back to foundation, and it goes right back to that solid foundation on which everything stands. Because I'm saying it that we are all creators, we are all superior beings, because we are created from the divine, that pure soul that came into this world. Even though we were born to our parents, but our soul is from the creator, it's from the divine, and he gave us some tools to live our life the right way. He gave us a heart, he gave us a soul, and he also gave us a gold mind. So with that said, let's dive a little bit into the book. This is not the book, but this is some information that I gathered from the book. All right, so okay, so I was talking about how we are ourselves are creators, and when I say that we are creators, it's like whatever the mind conceive. And that means if you think about something and you hold on to the idea for a very, very long time, and you keep on thinking about that one thing over and over and over, and then for some reason you believe it, you believe that whatever you're thinking about is true, and whatever you're thinking about is going to happen and manifest, then the thing is that the universe is going to move out any obstacles that's in your way. Let's say you wanted to come to the United States, for example, and you didn't have the proper documents or so forth, something, but you had the intention and the mind, something is gonna happen that's gonna move all the obstacles out of the way for you to find yourself here one way or the other. It might take a time, but believe me, if you hold on to that concept and that mentality and that thought in your mind, and you believe it so strongly, the universe is going to move obstacles out of your way for that to happen. Or if there's a particular area, a dream you had, and it seems like it was just so too big for you. You come from a small town, a country area, or somewhere where people were less privileged, and the dream you have, you believe that that dream is so big and it's unreachable, but people around you thinking that you're crazy or a dreamer for believing that, but you yourself, you just hold the concept, you know that it can happen, you know, and you believe it to be true, that you know the universe is gonna move obstacles for you to achieve it. And that is why it goes back to say that God is not a God of logic. He's a supernatural God. He's a God that is a miracle working God, is a supernatural God, and is a God that defies all science and logic. So Florence Scovel Shinn, back in her time, she was a metaphysics professor, as well as she would counsel people. Back in her time, there were like people that would come to her that had financial problems, and when they came to her, she would like tell them spoken words to say, because she's somebody that studied the Bible and studied the law of the universe. So she'll tell them spoken words to say. And that's another thing that I'm coming to. And they will speak those words, and they'll speak them with such conviction, and things would eventually turn for them. So when I talk about spoken words, it goes back to, did you know that words are spell? When I say that words are spell, it goes back to the Bible tells you that the tongue speaks life and death. And why the Bible tells you that the tongue speaks life and death is that you can speak something, and when you speak it, you can believe it so strongly and it come to pass. You can say, I wish that person would just die. As terrible as that sounds, you can say it, and in the midst of being so angry, you can really mean it, and something can happen that that person can pass away. It doesn't have to be same time. It can be like a couple of years from now, that person got sick, something happened to that person, and that person passed away, and you probably don't remember that it was a word that you were spoken at the time and that you believe it, and it came to pass. So just like how we can speak negative things and it comes to pass, we can speak positive things over our life and it comes to pass as well, and it changes things. So she has a couple accounts in the book of people that were going through certain situations and how she spoke with them and things eventually changed. There's one account of this rich lady, but for somehow she would end up in bankruptcy, and she needed to pay a loan of $3,000. Back in that time, $3,000 was a whole lot of money. Probably now $3,000 would be like $3 million. She needed to pay that amount of money, and she had a deadline to pay it. So when she went to Florence regarding her debt situation, Florence told her to go out to a restaurant, order something fancy and nice, act as if you have the money already, believe that you're already rich already. And that's kind of hard to grasp when you know that you're struggling and somebody gonna tell us, say, go and act like you're rich already and believe, say, you have the money already and the money is gonna come to you. That sounds like some hocus pocus, right? But this woman, she did exactly that. She went out and she ordered lunch, something expensive and nice, and they eat, and that was like the weekend. The money was supposed to be paid by the Monday. By the Saturday, Sunday, she was still calling because there was no sign of the money coming her way. And Florence tell her to still keep the belief. So while she was there, her maid told her that there's somebody at the door to her, and it was a family member. It was some cousin that she hadn't seen in a while, but it's a cousin that she had a good relationship with. And when that cousin came, and by talking, that cousin mentioned that he had $3,000 to give her. Can you believe that? The cousin mentioned that he had $3,000 to give her, and he would give her the $3,000 by Monday. And she was happy to hear that, but she didn't let him know that she had a deadline to pay that money. So anyway, she was still thinking about being rich and having that money. When the cousin went home, for some reason, the cousin called her back and said, you know what, we're not gonna delay it. I'm just gonna let you get the money right away. And she was able to call back Florence and tell Florence that it worked. And I know that's like some far account of story, and I can give you a personal story of mine, and I'm sure a lot of people out there have their own personal account to show that divine words, prayers, these things really work. All right, so my personal story, long time ago, I went to visit my father, and when I went to visit my father, I had this strong urge to see my stepmother. They were no longer together, so they were living apart. She was living like in another area, maybe an hour and a half away from where he lived by just walking. And for some reason, I just wanted to see this woman. Naturally, when I go to see him, I would never want to see my stepmother. They're no longer together, you know, we don't have that good relationship, like that, you know, concrete relationship. So there was no need for me to see her. But this time going to visit my father, the strongest conviction came over me. I kept on saying, I want to see her, I want to see her. And he couldn't understand it, and he's saying, it's night now. And I said, I don't care, I just want to see her. I don't know why I want to see her, but for some reason I just want to see her. Anyway, long story short, he took me to see her. And the night when I went to see her, I just felt like I just needed to give her some money. So I gave her some money. And as soon as I gave her some money, I heard she said, like, thank you, Jesus. She was giving thanks and praises. And I was like, why are you giving thanks and praises? And then she said to me that her grandkids, she wanted to send them to school the Monday. It was the Sunday night that I saw her. And she said they had no money. She had no money at all for them to go to school the Monday morning. And she said she prayed about it and she ironed their uniform. Listen up, people, listen. She didn't have any money for her grandkids to go to school. She prayed on it, and then she ironed. She took action. She ironed the uniform and she put them up. And she said she did that in Jesus' name, that somehow the money was going to come and they were going to go to school. So me appearing in that time to give her money was not natural. That was supernatural. That was the work of the divine. That was the work of the prayer manifesting. And when prayers manifest, guys, God uses people in different ways. Sometimes some people might come out of the blues to give you something. Sometimes you might be so much in a struggle or a deep rut, and somebody come and you say, oh, my guardian angel, this person come to rescue me. That is God in flesh form. That is God taking the shape of somebody and coming to give you the rescue that you need, the support that you need. Because whether you believe it or not, the divine is real. I have experienced him so many times in my life, so I can't doubt that his power and his goodness is real. It's 100% real. And every good book, there's another book, Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. All the great books, Earl Nightingale, these books that one-time billionaires, people back in the past, they read and they got super rich. These books was taken from the foundational books, and they were explained in a proper way that people could understand. Heed the way they blah blah blah. People don't really understand those things. They were explained in a clear way. When you say what a man sows, he reaps, you know, literally means you go in the cane field or the farm and sow something. It means that you're gonna go through life and you're gonna do good. If you do good in life, somehow goodness is gonna come back to you. And it doesn't necessarily come back to you from the person that you did the goodness to. It comes back in different ways, because it's not man that pays you, it's the universe and God that pays you. So when you do good and you do a lot of good, it's they're gonna become a season for reaping. You know, you're doing good now, you're putting in the good, putting in the work. As I keep putting in the work and I'm not seeing any turnover, your season for reaping is not ready yet, because not every crop take the same time to bear fruit. Some things come quicker, some things take more time. But once you're putting in the good work, then you can rest assured that you will reap the reward in the longer run. And if you're putting in bad work, remember, what a man sow him reap. So if you're putting in bad work, you're going about stealing people things, you're going around lying, you're going around mistreating people, you're going around doing the wrong things, being lazy, not doing the going to work, not working, not doing things that you're supposed to be doing, you're not doing it. Then, and if you continue on that same path, like continuously doing that, not caring, not doing what you're supposed to do, then that is still you planting seeds, and those seeds are gonna build up and you're gonna reap. So when time you start to go into a terrible rut, a terrible struggling phase, or a terrible down spiral, sometimes it's just you reaping those seeds that you once sow without even knowing that you're doing it, because we sow seeds every day in the universe. So we have to be careful how we live our life, guys. We might run from the Bible and run, but eventually at some point in time we find ourselves right back to the creation, find ourselves right back to what is right, because everything was built on him. He's the foundation for anything good to stand. Okay, so where was I? All right, so the different types of laws. So I was mentioning there's different types of laws, and some of us know these laws as karma. And the book from Florence, she talks about the different types of laws. I'm just gonna tell you a few. She had mentioned about this lady that she had money and she would buy the nicest set of jewelry, everything that was nice she would buy them, but she would never wear them. She would just buy them, take them home and put them in her drawer, or just put them somewhere nice in her stock, and she would just leave them there. But she would just never wear them. And something happened. I think somebody broke in her house and they stole all her jewelry. And Florence is saying that that happened because that woman defied the law of wear. I didn't know that there was such a law of wear. But then I can relate to it, because I remember growing up, I always hear about my parents buying stuff and they will never let us wear them. They would say, oh, it's for a rainy day. You buy your kids some new clothes, some new shoes, new accessories, whatever it is, and them stuck in the drawer, and you hear, oh, after a rainy day. Well, let me give a little story, because I just love to bring back things home, you know, and use back my personal experience to connect with people better. Growing up, my mother used to do the same thing. Buy things, would I wear the same frock, the same dress, go everywhere, anywhere. And when the new clothes was bought, they were put into the drawer. And she would say, oh, these things are for Mr. Rainy Day. Long story short, a day came when she said, all right, I think I have these things in my drawer so long, I think you guys can start wear them. When she pulled out the stuff them and start to shake them out and look at them, they were like, they were little. We outgrew the clothes them basically. We were just standing there looking at these little nice little clothes. And some of them, I think, maybe rat or roach or something like that went into the drawer and messed them up. So most of those clothes, she had to throw them away. and some she had to give them away. So from that moment, every single thing that I buy, if it's a ring, I'm gonna try it on. If it's a watch, I'm wearing it. And if it's clothes, I'm shaking it off and I'm putting it on, because that's a law that is real and it exists. That's the law of wear, right? And there's a law, the law of karma. The law of karma is when you do something bad to someone, and it doesn't have to be something great. It can be taking away something. It can be even telling a lie, you know. I mean, nobody's perfect, but there is some little things that we do that it comes right back and it bites us. You know, we might think, oh, I'm gonna take this thing, oh, I'm just gonna steal this pen, no one is going to know. And your karma might come back really quick, that somebody come and say, where's my pen? And you know, and it escalates, as well as you can end up taking 50 pen before it comes back to you. But that's the law of karma, and it's real, guys. It's real as can be. So we have to be careful with certain things that we do. Nobody's perfect, but when you live, try to live the right way, then good things happen. It's not easy, but it can be achieved. All right, so the law of wear, the law of karma, and the law of work. All right, so the law of work, you know, you have a lot of people, good people, they're good people, and they will say things like, I am so poor, you know, I've been living this way for 20-30 years right now. I'm still in this little cottage, you know, and this is all I have, and I'm so poor. And you'll find sometimes those people get up and they repeat the same little thing over and over and over, and it's like they're waiting for something out of the sky. If you come and say, all right, pour no more, or here, something to come and drop on them. And it never does. And it never does because those people don't understand that there's a certain law to it. It's like, if you want certain things to change, you have to somehow make the change. And sometimes change comes from just a thought. Just like the thought in the mind, no matter where you are, no matter how poor you are, no matter what the situation is, every single thing in this world were built upon a thought before it manifested and came to reality. So even if you don't have the money, but you have the thought, let me bring back something home. I love to use my own stories. Many years ago, when I was growing up in the country and I was living in a rented house, and I decided that, all right, I want somewhere to lease because I want to put up a little house or something. I need a spot. At the time when I did that, I didn't have any money. All I had was the idea. And I remember I suggested it to somebody, and they told me that, oh, you're not going to get anywhere to lease around here because these people are not going to lease their land. Anyway, I decided I want to hear from the horse's mouth. I'm going to go to those people. I'm going to ask them and hear if they're going to tell me that they're not going to lease the land. I went to the long and short, I went to the people and I asked them, and they said, yes, I'm going to lease you the land. And when they tell me, yes, they're going to lease me the land, I have no money to give these people at the time. I said, okay, you're going to lease me the land? All right, then I'll work on getting you the money. And it took me months before they got the money. But it all started with the idea. And months to get the money, about a year to start working on the house, and about 2 years for the house to complete. But I'm just saying, guys, it's everything started with an idea. It's the idea. So if you want more, you have to become more. There is no other way. If you want more, you must become more, which means you have to take action. You have to do something, fit, align yourself. You want a car, you want a car, you want a car. The action is to get a job, work, try and save some money, put some money aside or whatever best, and eventually the car will come. All about taking action. All right, and I'm not gonna keep you guys long. So the book is giving many accounts of these things, and the book goes back to the principle of the foundation of the universal law, the law of the laws that the universe gives, and these laws are back from the Bible, but they are broken down in simpler context for us to understand. Because I learned that we have three different sections of mind. We have the conscious mind, we have the subconscious mind, and we have the superconscious mind. Well, Florence talked about that. She said the superconscious mind is the mind of God. The superconscious mind is when you're gonna go out. You might put your foot in the road, you're trying to cross a street, and a car just come out of the middle of nowhere, and somebody out of the blues just come and pull you back, and you're like, where was this person? How did this car not hit me? And so forth. And that's the work of the divine. That's the superconscious mind that is protecting you and guiding you. Right, so we have that mind that protects us and guides us and keep us safe, and we have the subconscious mind, which the subconscious mind works in a certain way. Whatever idea you give it, it can't help but to work on those ideas. So if you give it good ideas, it's gonna bear good fruit, and good things are gonna happen. It's gonna play out, it's gonna manifest into reality. And if you give it bad ideas, it's gonna still bear fruit. You know, sometimes people self-sabotage their own self. They become their own critic, and sometimes they tell themselves that, oh, I can't, and then it can't manifest itself into reality. And then you find that they're not able to do certain things. They cripple themselves because they give themselves those negative thoughts. So it goes right back to negative and positive. And you'll hear a lot of people growing up, and they'll tell you, so, oh, you're too negative. And somebody say, no, I'm not negative, I'm talking reality. But guess what? Your words that you speak over time becomes your reality, because the words take form. And if you keep on speaking the same thing over and over, it takes form and it becomes flesh and it manifests itself. So be careful of the words that you speak. And all right, guys, so I'm gonna leave it here. I hope somebody learned something. And if you did, please like, give me a thumbs up, subscribe, or please share. That helps me to keep the channel going. And for next time, peace and love. Thank you all.
Hold on, take a breath. If I could, I'd make me feel less.